If you are over 60 and you eat avocado because you have heard it is good for the heart, the biggest mistake is not eating avocado. It is treating avocado as if more is always better. In this video, I will show you 5 common avocado mistakes, how to use it as part of a balanced meal, and the one question that matters more than whether you eat half an avocado or a whole one. Before we get into the details, one important rule for this channel: a food can be nutritious without being a treatment, and a traditional remedy can be interesting without being proven medicine. So we are going to separate what is well established, what is plausible, and what is still uncertain. That matters even more after 60, when medicines, digestive changes, kidney function, blood pressure, and individual tolerance can change what is appropriate for one person compared with another. Mistake number 1. Adding avocado without replacing anything. Avocado is rich in mostly unsaturated fat, fiber, potassium, folate, and other nutrients. That is a useful nutritional profile, but it is still energy dense. The benefit is strongest when avocado replaces a less favorable choice, such as a spread or side that is higher in saturated fat or lower in fiber. If you simply add a large avocado to an already large meal every day, you may be adding hundreds of calories without improving the overall pattern. Observational research can show associations, but it cannot prove that avocado itself prevents disease. The sensible interpretation is substitution, not magic. The practical takeaway is simple. Use avocado to replace, not merely add. Think about what leaves the plate when avocado comes on. The second mistake is especially common at breakfast, where, honestly, the food around the avocado can matter more than the avocado itself. Mistake number 2, judging the meal by the avocado alone. Avocado toast can be a balanced breakfast, but it can also become a plate of refined bread, processed meat, cheese, and a token slice of avocado. Health outcomes are linked to dietary patterns, not just one green ingredient. Whole grain bread, vegetables, beans, eggs in an appropriate pattern, yogurt or another protein source can change the meal completely. For older adults, protein and total nutrient intake matter because appetite may be lower and maintaining muscle becomes more important. The practical takeaway is simple. Build the meal around fiber, adequate protein, and minimally processed foods, instead of using avocado as a health halo. Now let us deal with a mistake that has nothing to do with nutrition and everything to do with safety. Mistake number 3. Using the knife and pit trick carelessly. A surprisingly practical risk is the way people remove an avocado pit. Striking the pit with a knife can cause hand injuries. A safer approach is to scoop the pit out with a spoon or use gentle pressure rather than swinging a blade toward your hand. This is not glamorous, but honestly, avoiding an injury is more important than copying a fast kitchen trick. So the practical takeaway here is pretty simple. Use a spoon or, another controlled method to remove the pit, especially if your grip strength or hand sensation is reduced. The next issue is, portion size, but not because there's some universal perfect portion out there. Mistake number 4 is copying someone else's portion. Honestly, there is no single avocado serving that's ideal for every person. Calorie needs, medications, kidney function, digestive tolerance, and even the rest of the meal can all vary quite a bit. A half avocado might fit one person's pattern, while a smaller amount may suit another person's meal. If you have advanced kidney disease and you've been told to limit potassium, high potassium foods like avocado may require individual guidance. But that's a medical nutrition issue, not a reason for everyone to fear avocado. The practical takeaway is simple. Choose a portion that fits your whole meal and follow individual guidance if you have kidney or electrolyte restrictions. The 5th mistake is the one that, turns a healthy food into a social media promise. Mistake number 5. Expecting avocado to lower cholesterol by itself. Avocado can fit a heart-healthy diet, and replacing saturated fats with unsaturated fats is a well-established nutrition principle. But one food does not cancel smoking, inactivity, untreated blood pressure, poorly controlled diabetes, or an overall diet dominated by highly processed foods. If your LDL cholesterol is high, the right response is not to double the avocado. It is to discuss your complete cardiovascular risk and treatment plan with your clinician. The practical takeaway is simple. Treat avocado as one useful food inside a larger pattern rather than a cholesterol medicine. That brings us to the simplest way to use avocado without overthinking it. One reason this distinction matters is that older adults are not a single biological group. A healthy 62-year-old who takes no medicines may tolerate a food very differently from an 80-year-old with reflux, kidney disease, diabetes, or several prescriptions. Good advice leaves room for that variation instead of pretending that one recipe has the same effect for everyone. When in doubt, the lowest risk place to start is an ordinary food portion and a clear reason for using it. It also helps to separate a short-term sensation from a long-term health outcome. Feeling warm, full, alert, or having a bowel movement after a food does not prove that the food is repairing an organ, lowering future disease risk, or reversing a chronic condition. Those larger claims require human clinical evidence. This channel will keep that line clear because it protects viewers from mistaking a noticeable effect for a medically proven result. Another practical point is substitution. Nutrition research often makes more sense when we ask what a food replaces. Replacing a low-fiber, highly processed option with a whole food can improve the overall pattern, even if the new food is not a medicine. Simply adding another calorie-dense item on top of the same diet may not create the same advantage. That is why the context of the plate matters as much as the ingredient in the title. Medication review is part of nutrition after 60. The average medicine list often grows with age, and herbs, concentrated extracts, fiber products, caffeine, and mineral-rich foods can sometimes matter in that context. This does not mean ordinary food is dangerous. It means a responsible video should flag situations where a pharmacist or clinician can give a more personalized answer than a universal rule on the internet. There is also a difference between culinary use and supplement use. A spice stirred into food may contain a fraction of the active compounds found in an extract, oil, capsule, or enhanced bioavailability formula. When research uses a standardized product, we should not automatically transfer the same expected effect or safety profile to a homemade drink. The reverse is also true. A warning about a concentrated product should not be used to scare people away from normal food amounts. If you want to test whether a food habit helps you, change one variable at a time. Keep the rest of the meal and routine reasonably stable, notice symptoms over several days, and write down what changes. This simple approach is more informative than stacking 5 new remedies together and then guessing which one caused the benefit or the side effect. It also makes a conversation with your clinician much more useful. For chronic symptoms, timing matters. A new symptom that appears suddenly, progresses quickly, wakes you from sleep, causes weight loss, bleeding, weakness, vomiting, or major loss of function deserves evaluation. A food video should never create a delay in diagnosis. The best role for nutrition content is to improve everyday choices while helping viewers recognize when a problem has moved beyond self-care. Finally, remember that consistency beats intensity. A modest habit you can repeat for months is usually more meaningful than an extreme 7-day challenge. That principle applies to fiber, protein, caffeine, spices, hydration, and exercise. The goal is not to feel that a remedy is powerful. The goal is to build a pattern that supports health without creating new problems. When you hear a dramatic claim online, ask what kind of evidence produced it. A randomized human trial can answer a different question from a test tube experiment, a survey, or an animal study. Even a human trial may use a dose, extract, or population that does not match a normal kitchen habit. Asking that one question prevents many nutrition myths from sounding stronger than they really are. The same caution applies to before and after stories. A personal story can be really meaningful to the person telling it, but it just cannot show whether the food actually caused the change, whether other habits changed at the same time, or whether the result would happen for someone else. Testimonials are, useful for generating questions. But controlled research is what actually helps answer them. For older adults, appetite and meal quality deserve special attention. Removing too many foods because of fear-based videos can, honestly, accidentally reduce protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals, or even total calories. The better strategy is usually targeted. Identify the specific problem, change only what needs changing, and keep the rest of the diet varied enough to support strength and independence. A simple safety habit is to keep a current list of medicines, over-the-counter products and supplements. Bring that list to medical appointments and mention any concentrated herb or supplement used regularly. This is especially useful when several clinicians are involved because a product that seems unrelated to one condition can still affect digestion, bleeding, risk blood pressure, or medication exposure. It's also worth separating prevention from treatment. A healthy dietary pattern can lower long-term risk and support general well-being, but once a disease is diagnosed, food advice should work alongside appropriate medical care rather than competing with it. That distinction allows us to discuss nutrition enthusiastically without making promises that the evidence just can't support. And if a habit is helping mainly because it replaces a less helpful one, that still counts. Water flavored with citrus may replace soda. Oatmeal with seeds may replace a pastry. A balanced egg breakfast may replace processed meat. Health gains often come from these quiet substitutions, not from a dramatic biochemical effect that can be felt minutes after eating. Here's a quick reality check you can use at home. If a recommendation depends on words like instantly, guaranteed, cleanse, melt, reverse, or cure, look for the exact human evidence behind that promise. Most foods work through ordinary nutrition over time, not through a dramatic 10-minute switch. A calmer claim is often a more accurate claim. Who should be more careful? People with food allergies, people following a medically prescribed potassium restriction, and anyone who notices that a high-fat meal worsens reflux or digestive symptoms should personalize the choice. Avocado itself is not a treatment for heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, or memory loss. A practical plate might look like this: a modest portion of avocado, a clear protein source, vegetables or fruit, and a high-fiber whole grain or legume if it fits your needs. Use it as a replacement for butter-heavy, creamy spreads or other saturated fat-heavy choices when that makes sense. If weight maintenance is a goal, keep the portion consistent enough that you know how it fits your daily intake. The main message is not eat more avocado, it's use avocado intelligently. Replace rather than pile on, judge the entire meal, use safe preparation, personalize the portion, and keep the health claim realistic. If you found this useful, the next video in this series explains why turmeric milk can be a comforting habit, but is often prepared and promoted in ways the evidence does not support. When we think about avocados, it's easy to get caught up in debates about whether they're healthy or not. But, maybe it's time to rethink the way we approach this unique fruit. Instead of focusing solely on its nutritional profile, let's consider the role it plays in our meals and how it fits into our overall eating habits. There is one more way to think about avocado that can make all of these recommendations easier to remember. Instead of asking, is avocado healthy? Ask, what job is avocado doing in this meal? Is it replacing butter on toast? Is it adding texture and unsaturated fat to a salad that already contains vegetables and protein? Is it helping make a meal more satisfying so that you are less likely to reach for a highly processed snack an hour later? Those are useful questions because they focus on the whole eating pattern rather than giving one ingredient more power than it deserves. And that matters especially after 60. As we get older, the goal is not simply to eat the largest number of foods that have been labeled superfoods. The bigger priorities are maintaining muscle, getting enough protein and fiber, supporting cardiovascular health, keeping meals enjoyable, and choosing foods that fit your individual medical needs. When it comes to nutrition, especially as we age, it's really about being realistic and practical. There's no need to chase after every new diet trend or to fill your plate with foods just because they're popular at the moment. Instead, focus on what works for your body, your tastes, and your lifestyle. Eating well should feel sustainable and, honestly, enjoyable rather than a daily struggle. Avocado can fit very well into that picture, but it does not need to appear at every meal. You do not need to force yourself to eat it if you dislike it. And you certainly do not need an oversized portion, because someone online said that eating more will clean your arteries, reverse diabetes, improve memory, or produce some dramatic result overnight. That is not how nutrition works. Think about what happens over a week, rather than what happens after one breakfast. Did most of your meals include vegetables or fruit? Did you get enough protein? Were most of your carbohydrate choices relatively high in fiber? Did you regularly choose unsaturated fats instead of relying heavily on saturated fats? And were your portions appropriate for your appetite, weight goals, activity level, and medical conditions? Now, let's just take a moment to talk about keeping things simple and safe. Making healthy choices doesn't mean you need to overhaul your entire diet overnight or follow complicated rules that are tough to stick with. Instead, focus on small, steady changes that you can maintain over time. Remember, it's about building habits that fit your lifestyle and support your well-being in the long run. Safety also means being cautious of extreme diets or supplements that promise quick fixes. If something sounds too good to be true, well, it probably is. Trust reliable sources, listen to your body, and give yourself the time to adapt. Sustainable progress is always better than chasing after shortcuts. Those questions tell us far more about the quality of a diet than whether you ate avocado on Tuesday morning. There is also no prize for eating a food in the most complicated way possible. You do not have to mix avocado with 5 different powders, supplements, oils, or so-called metabolism boosters. A simple meal is perfectly acceptable. Avocado with whole grain toast and a source of protein, a few slices added to beans and vegetables, or a modest amount used instead of a heavy, creamy spread. Sometimes the most sustainable nutrition strategy is also the least dramatic one. And if avocado does not agree with your digestion, pay attention to that. Nutrition recommendations are not supposed to make you uncomfortable just because a particular food has a healthy reputation. Start with a smaller portion, notice how you feel, and look at what else was eaten at the same meal. If symptoms repeatedly occur, especially if they are significant or persistent, discuss them with an appropriate healthcare professional rather than continuing to experiment indefinitely. The same principle applies if you have been given specific instructions for potassium, calories, fat intake, or another nutrient. Your personal medical plan should take priority over a general nutrition video. So, before you cut your next avocado, remember the 5 mistakes. Do not simply add it to an already overloaded meal. Do not judge an unhealthy breakfast as healthy just because avocado is sitting on top. Do not risk your hand trying to remove the pit with a dramatic knife trick. Do not copy someone else's portion without considering your own needs. And do not expect one food to act like cholesterol medication or erase the effects of an unhealthy lifestyle. The main message is not eat more avocado, it is use avocado intelligently. Replace rather than pile on, judge the entire meal, use safe preparation, personalize the portion, and keep the health claim realistic. If you found this useful, the next video in this series explains why turmeric milk can be a comforting habit, but is often prepared and promoted in ways that make the science sound much stronger than it really is.